So today's video is all about self-guided cycling in Lanzarote, and Emily has just been out to do the trip and it looked fantastic. We've done our in-house sort of look at it, and thankfully you've come to give us a little bit of Q&A about the trip. So really excited to go through this. Can you just give me a brief overview of the trip?
It's a self-guided trip. So you're following our excellent GPX stats all the way around. Really easy to follow the routes. It's a 1 week trip. You're exploring the entire island over the week, and you're staying in different accommodation all across the island, and all your luggage transfers are included, all your breakfasts are included. And we especially loved this trip because we went in January and it was a really miserable winter in the UK, and we just had a week of sunshine in January, and that even felt therapeutic. It was great. But you could choose to go on this trip any time of year.
I think that's it. We always look at the Canaries as an ideal year-round destination, but particularly in the winter, if you want that bit of winter sun. And it looked lovely. It looked really nice weather. What was the weather like? You had 20 degrees?
Yeah, it's like t-shirt wearing weather. So we were cycling just in a cycling jersey or a t-shirt, and we'd have a little windproof with us. But it was just like, it was perfect, not too hot, not too cold. And there's always the wind factor in the Canaries, but it was just a lovely week of cycling.
So I do a bit of cycling. I like a little cycle. However, the pictures you brought back were very different. There's lots of the roads look lovely. But you know, I also know people that go to the Canary Islands and do the volcanic hills, so can be quite tough. How did you find it? How hard was the trip?
It is like a cycling mecca over there. I think especially for winter sun cycling. But the road surface was lovely, so really smooth tarmac. It's undulating. There's only a couple of bigger climbs, but with this itinerary, you can choose the length of route you want to do. So there's about 3 options of routes each day, between about 30k to 70k, so maybe 2 hours cycling to 6 hours cycling, depending on how much you want to do. And some days are pretty flat, and 1 or 2 days you get over a hill. So we call it a moderate cycling holiday, but it's really kind of hard. It's really up to you how much you want to cycle each day.
But I also suppose that there is the option of an e-bike.
Yes.
So if you don't want to do necessarily, if you want a bit of assistance, and also balance out if there's a faster cycler. And
we're the perfect example. So I hired an e-bike. My husband hired a road bike. So we've got a standard bike hire on this trip included, and then you can upgrade to an e-bike or upgrade to a road bike. And it worked really well, us being on 2 different types of bike. So I had panniers on my bike. So I carried kind of a bit of extra water, our sun cream, a few snacks for the day, our windproofs. And then any hill, I'm just racing off, waiting for my husband to catch up. And he really liked that because he was super lightweight for the entire week, carrying nothing. And I'm on the e-bike getting all that assistance. So you can just pair up like that, and it's great.
That's cool. The one of the big things is, you know, you're obviously doing the day activity, but the evenings and in the mornings you've got the accommodation plays a big part of any trip. So what was the accommodation like?
The accommodation blew us away.
It looked amazing.
It's described as 3 and 4 star. It was a lovely 3-star, really like bougie 4-star. Really nice, and it's a real mix. So in some parts of the island, you're in the tourist resort, so you're in a big hotel, which is great because you've got pools, you've got big buffet breakfasts, loads of facilities, and you're in a town. There's options, loads of options for dinner. And then on other days, you've got the polar opposite of that. So really lovely boutique hotel in Huria that's kind of colonial Spanish. Oh, it's lovely, all traditional. And a similar place like that in Teguise, which was the old capital, that had a Michelin star, so you could have dinner there as well if you wanted to, or you're in the town, you've got other options. But it is lovely accommodation every night.
Yeah,
and varied.
it did look really nice, and as you said, a nice variant of it. But
Yeah.
you mentioned there about the Michelin star, about food. What is the food? Because it's a big part of cycling. You're burning off the calories.
Yeah.
You need to replenish it. What's the food like?
Yeah, so you always get loads of breakfast, whichever hotel you're at, and there's sometimes like locally made yogurts and preserves and bread. So you've got a good hearty breakfast to choose from at the beginning. And then en route, there's always cafes that you can stop at, or in our description, we describe about where to stop en route for different museums and things like that. And each of those have got a cafe, or you could go to a supermarket and get some sandwiches and carry those with you. And then in the evening, you're in a big town or you're in a small town. So there's various different restaurants that you can choose from. Because it's self-guided, you've just got that flexibility yourself. There's local dishes. So like the wrinkly potatoes are quite famous in the Canary Islands. There's local wines. One day you ride through the wine region, which is enjoyable to see in itself, with these vines that all kind of grow in the ground in the volcanic ash. So there's just lots of options for a small island, loads of fresh fruit, which again just feels great in January.
You've gone through lots of amazing bits, but what were the standout highlights of the trip?
Yeah, probably a few things. Because it's a cycling trip, the quality of the roads that you're cycling on and the quietness, and loads of cycle paths. And when you're on the road, it's not too busy. So that was lovely for a cycling trip. And then some of the destinations you go to, we really liked the big national park. I might not say this right. Timofaya National Park. Again, we were on the bikes, which is great because we skipped a big queue of traffic lining up to go into the national park. And you're in this huge volcanic landscape, and you're on the bus getting a little audio guide around it. And the ride that day into the national park was just gorgeous, through like cactus and things. And then you finish that day on the coastline. So that day kind of had everything in it. Yeah.
I think we're all kind of inspired to do this trip. It sounds amazing. But do you have any tips for anybody doing this trip or anything?
Yeah,
in Canaries?
a couple of tips. Some little logical things, like we took sandwich bags with us, and that meant that we could get some lunch bits from the supermarket, and we took a phone holder so we could have our route on our handlebars, because we get the GPS routes, and you can follow that on your phone, or if you've got like a Garmin for your handlebar, you can put that on. So that's great, a little sat nav to follow, so route is follow. And then kind of a bigger tip is make the most of being in the Canary Islands. It is so easy to extend this into a longer holiday. So you could tag on different trips. So you can fly in and out of the islands really easily, and you can get ferries across the islands easily. And we can back-to-back different trips. So you could go to Tenerife, you could go to La Palma. Yeah.
There's a lot of options around it.
Yeah.
There's a load. Each island in the Canaries is very unique.
Really unique.
And that's what's quite nice about it.
Completely different. I've been to Tenerife. That was completely different to Lanzarote. We did a day's ride on this trip. We chose the option where you get the ferry across to Fuerteventura. That again was completely different. So we did get to do 2 islands on this trip, depending on if you want a bigger day ride on that day.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Emily.
That's
It's
okay.
been great. That's all the questions. And as I said, we all want to go over and enjoy some winter sun.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions about the Canaries or this trip in particular, do get in touch with the office, and either somebody in the office or Emily will be able to help answer your questions. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.